What occurs when the individual responsible for the finances is overlooked as if he were invisible? Franklin James reclined in the driver's seat of his beige rental sedan, gazing through the windshield at Store 5, one of the 9 boutique wellness centers he acquired 6 years prior. The chain had expanded rapidly, and profits remained consistent. However, recently complaints began to surface. It's not about the costs or the offerings, but rather the individuals involved. Unfriendly personnel, prolonged delays. A customer recounted their experience of waiting for an hour only to be informed that they had arrived too late. Franklin preferred clear and straightforward reports, avoiding any vague or overly polished updates from district managers. He removed his beard, transformed his hair to a shade of grey, and donned a pair of thick glasses. The corporate office had never dispatched him to this location, and none of the 9 stores possessed any photographs of him. He ensured that was the case. He strolled through the sliding doors clad in khakis and a worn polo, with a small duffel bag in hand. No one raised their gaze. The waiting room held a serene stillness, with only the soft strains of lo-fi music drifting through the air. A handful of patrons lingered quietly, absorbed in their devices. Seated at the desk was a young woman, her long lashes framing her eyes as she scrolled through her phone. Kelsey was the name displayed on her tag. Franklin approached the counter, took a moment to clear his throat. "Hello, I scheduled a consultation. For 10, he mentioned. She kept her gaze fixed downward. "My name is Frank Jennings." Kelsey tapped away at the keys, her gum popping softly as she worked. He gestured for the person to sit down, then nodded and settled into a chair by the window. 10 minutes slipped by, followed by 20, and then 40. The receptionist remained, silent, not making any calls or uttering a word. From time to time she chuckled at something on her phone. A man beside Franklin leaned in closer. "I've been here since 9:40, he murmured. "Do you think she's forgotten about us?" Franklin rose and made his way back to the desk. "Excuse me, I just wanted to confirm." Kelsey didn't glance up. "I mentioned that someone would come for you." And he remained patient and bided my time. As the clock struck 12:15, Franklin found himself in that seat for more than 2 hours. No employee had emerged. 2 customers decided to leave, and no one was summoned in. Kelsey continued to scroll while Franklin finally rose to his feet. Kelsey rolled her eyes, exasperated. "I'm sorry, but it's been over 2 hours. Is anyone actually working back there?" "My dear sir, I have already informed you that assistance will be provided. There is no need for you to continue inquiring." Towering figure emerged from the hallway clutching a clipboard. Kelsey, the next in line, simply shrugged. "I'm not sure, but there's been a guy bothering me all morning." That was it. Franklin stood, his hands trembling, but not from a sense of furious disbelief. He stepped through the door, settled into his car, and gazed at the steering wheel. He faced a decision to step away and discuss matters with the district manager later, or to return not as a customer, but as a trainee. The following day, he reappeared as Fred Jenkins, sporting a fresh disguise complete with buzzed hair, a fake tattoo sleeve, and an application for the front desk trainee position. The store manager was in dire need of assistance. There was a lack of applications, leaving them with insufficient staff. She hardly looked his way before stating, "You begin today." Inside, Franklin grasped the complete situation. Kelsey wasn't. Merely unmotivated, she was unrestrained. She arrived after everyone else, departed before the end, engaged playfully with the delivery personnel, and paid little attention to the customers. When Franklin inquired about the appointment log, she replied, "Don't worry about it, no one really keeps track." Carla, the store manager, was hardly ever present. She dedicated the majority of her hours in the back office, the door firmly shut. Upon her emergence, she issued commands with authority before vanishing once more. She seemed oblivious or indifferent to the events unfolding at the front, yet Franklin encountered another individual, a gentle-voiced woman named Shayla. In her mid-30s, with keen eyes and a constant energy, she wasn't even working full-time. She took on a part-time role, moving between stores to cover shifts when others were absent. "You're new?" she inquired as she retrieved a cart filled with supplies. "Indeed, I've just begun. Fred, Shayla, wishing you the best." This place is an object? He observed her tidying up Kelsey's chaos, never uttering a word of discontent. In moments of customer frustration, she had a remarkable ability to soothe their concerns. As Kelsey vanished for half an hour, Shayla took charge of the desk. She handled it with grace, finding a way to make it all come together. Later that day, Franklin found himself enjoying lunch in the break room, where he caught snippets of Kelsey's conversation on the phone. "I'm not sure, but an older gentleman seemed to wait an eternity yesterday and ended up having quite the outburst. Just chill, it's not a medical facility. That old man had been him." He tightened his jaw. This went beyond mere disorganization. It was a clear lack of respect, in the direction of clients heading towards the enterprise. To those who genuinely cared, like Shayla, he had witnessed enough. Tomorrow he would unveil his true self, and it certainly wouldn't be silent. Franklin entered through the staff entrance at 8:05 the following morning, just a minute past the scheduled start time displayed on the paper affixed to the break room door. No one seemed to pay attention. The front lobby lay in silence, the hallway lights casting a soft, muted glow. He strolled by the reception desk, where Kelsey's station was marked by a tall, iced coffee, beads of condensation forming on its surface, atop a pile of unopened mail. She was absent from view, with gentle footsteps trailing behind him. Shayla, already dressed in her uniform, was maneuvering a cart piled high with fresh towels. "You're early," she remarked, maintaining her pace, striving to leave a positive impact. With a weary nod, she slipped away into the treatment rooms. Franklin settled into the chair behind the desk, uncertain whether he had permission to access the system. He had received no training. He struck a few keys, yet the terminal remained locked behind a password barrier. The reception phone buzzed once, then fell silent. He remained silent. It wasn't yet his role to respond. At 8:22, Kelsey strolled in, her sunglasses firmly in place, a phone glued to her ear. She remarked that if he was still upset about yesterday, it wasn't her concern as she glided past him, flinging her tote bag onto the counter. "Well, I have to get to work. Farewell." She settled into the chair next to him, reached for the iced coffee, and unlocked her phone to browse Instagram. Franklin remained silent. A short while later, a woman in her 60s entered, her gait marked by a subtle limp, clutching a printed confirmation email in her hand. She mentioned that "I have an appointment with Dr. Patel at 8:30. Kelsey stole a quick look at the clock before shifting her gaze back to her phone. Indeed, he hasn't arrived yet. The woman paused, "Inviting you to take a seat. I had to depart from work ahead of schedule for this." "All right," Kelsey replied, her gaze fixed elsewhere as Franklin moved closer. "Do you want me to take a look at the schedule? I'm in the process of understanding the system, but I'm willing to give it a shot." Kelsey cast him a sidelong glance. "She mentioned it's at 8:30. That indicates it's scheduled for 8:30. Franklin remained silent. The woman settled into her seat, an air of discomfort surrounding her. At 8:45, Dr. Patel entered the building, a look of confusion etched on his face. "Did Mrs. Hill arrive?" he inquired. Kelsey remained silent. She sat engrossed in a video, a soft chuckle escaping her lips. 15 minutes have passed since she arrived," Franklin remarked. Patel shifted her gaze towards her. "Why didn't you reach out to me?" Kelsey finally raised her gaze. "You were absent." He stated with a sense of tranquility that he had been in the back office since 8:10. Kelsey gave a slight shrug. "It's not my responsibility that you chose not to greet me." With a deep sigh, he gestured toward the lobby. "Kindly have her come in." The elderly woman rose and trailed behind him into the corridor. Once they had departed, Franklin shifted his attention to Kelsey. "Do you frequently delay reaching out to providers?" She regarded him as if he had inquired whether the sky was indeed blue. "They are well aware of their schedules." "I'm not their babysitter," he remarked, offering no further comment. Yet he noted the time, the interaction, her inflection, each nuance. Later that morning, Carla, the store manager, finally stepped out of her office. She donned a fitted black sweater and held a tablet, her gaze fixed on the screen as she walked by the front desk. "Fred," she uttered, her gaze fixed elsewhere. "Today, you're assigned to towels. Shayla is handling reception duties." Kelsey raised her gaze. Hold on, what's the reason? Carla remained silent. She vanished down the corridor, leaving no explanation behind. Shayla emerged moments later, deftly wiping her hands with a small cloth. It's been weeks since I last worked the front desk, Franklin mentioned. If that's what you'd like, I can certainly take care of it. No, she replied hastily. I will accept it. I prefer to avoid conflict. She settled into her position behind the desk, entering the system, with a flurry of swift keystrokes. Her energy radiated a distinct quality, serene, concentrated, and perceptive. Within just 10 minutes, she managed to check in 2 clients, address a billing inquiry over the phone, and print a forgotten receipt for a man who had misplaced his insurance paperwork. Franklin observed her in silence. She maintained a calm demeanor, never hurried, yet was always in motion. At noon, Carla summoned the team for a meeting in the back break room. The space felt confined, with just enough seating to accommodate the crowd. Franklin lingered in the shadows of the corner. Pay attention, Carla declared, her footsteps echoing as she moved back and forth in front of the neglected dry erase board that had remained unchanged for far too long. Management has been pressing me about the metrics. We're lagging on. Upsells falling short on reviews, and I'm not observing sufficient appointment retention. She surveyed the space with an intensity that seemed to challenge anyone to oppose her. I require everyone to intensify their efforts. If a client arrives for a facial, recommend the peel treatment. If inquiries arise regarding massage, be sure to highlight the deluxe option. Ensure that everyone books their next visit before they leave. Understood? Shayla lifted her hand. Several clients are bringing up the issue of extended wait times once more. Perhaps if we could add another person at the front, but we lack the budget, Carla interjected. We all accomplish more with fewer resources. That's the nature of the work. Kelsey discreetly scrolled through her phone beneath the table, while Carla remained oblivious. Furthermore, Carla added, a few of you are cleaning excessively. I won't specify anyone, but I certainly don't want anyone squandering resources or effort on unnecessary cleaning. Shayla's gaze dropped. The meeting concluded without permitting any questions. As the crowd dispersed, Franklin made his way over to Carla. Just a quick inquiry. I'm still in the process of learning. Is there someone in particular I should be following closely? I'll figure it out, she remarked, tapping her tablet with a knowing smile. Simply avoid obstructing others. She turned and left before he had a chance to say anything. By mid-afternoon, Franklin was busy folding towels in the back when he caught the sound of raised voices coming from the front. A client sat at the desk, visibly distressed. Franklin edged nearer, careful not to attract any notice. The woman stated that she had been charged twice. I visited this place just once this week. Kelsey reclined in her chair. I can't resolve that issue. You find yourself at the reception area. Whom should I approach? I assure you, it's not me. Shayla entered from the hallway, wiping her hands with a paper towel. I'll take a closer look at it, she replied softly. Kelsey rose to her feet. I mentioned that it's not our responsibility. It seems you may have overlooked the fact that you visited on 2 occasions. The woman's cheeks flushed with color. Shayla interjected, clearly displeased with the insinuation. Certainly, I'll print your visit history right away. Please hold on for just a moment. The woman gave a curt nod, and Shayla slipped away into the shadows of the back room. Kelsey grumbled, some individuals simply thrive on chaos. Franklin made his entrance. Kelsey turned to him, her expression firm. That wasn't necessary. You're not even here full-time, so maybe you should just step back. Shayla came back, presenting the woman with a sheet of paper that had 2 dates written on it. Here you go. It seems there was a glitch in the system. I will ensure it gets flagged. The woman settled down right away. Thanks a lot. That's everything I required. Once she departed, Kelsey let out an exasperated sigh. Indifferent. Franklin made his way directly to the break room, discreetly retrieved his phone, and dialed the district HR lead from his hiding spot behind a vending machine. She must be eliminated. Today, he remarked, there's no way to bounce back from what I've witnessed. I won't be postponing this until the week's conclusion. At 4:30, a representative from the regional HR team made their entrance. She invited Kelsey to the back for a standard check-in. Kelsey, undeterred, continued on. In just a quarter of an hour, she had vanished. Silence enveloped the room, her face a canvas of neutrality as she methodically collected her belongings. As she crossed the threshold for the final time, Shayla glanced back at Franklin. What transpired? He remained silent. Instead, he took hold of a broom and began to sweep the lobby. Franklin lingered into the evening, assisting Shayla with the closing duties. It was outside the usual guidelines for a newcomer, yet no one raised an eyebrow. With Kelsey gone, the front desk had become tranquil, less chaotic, less tense. Shayla managed the final clients with a calm competence, providing Franklin with occasional advice, while maintaining a respectful demeanor. As they secured the premises, she glanced over at him. I hope you understand, Fred, but it's common for newcomers to leave before the end of the third day. Are you all right? Franklin paused, uncertainty flickering in his mind. I'm doing well. I'm simply seeking to grasp the true workings of this place. She gazed at him for a moment longer than typical, then nodded and swung the door open. The following morning, Carla appeared clearly unsettled. She gathered the team for an unexpected meeting in the back corridor. A couple of things, she started. Kelsey's departure is final, and HR has taken care of the situation. Without any justification or remorse, merely a dismissal of accountability. I'll be handling double duty at the front until we can bring someone else into the mix. For now, I prefer that no one crosses any boundaries. We continue to have our designated roles, and we adhere to them diligently. She cast a fleeting glance at Shayla, who remained unperturbed. Additionally, the corporate team will be sending a representative to examine our compliance logs next week. I expect each station to be immaculate, without exception. Franklin remained silent. He wasn't present to confront her just yet, but he took note of the words used. There's a lack of emphasis on enhancing service, no attention to the team, merely a focus on managing appearances. As the day progressed, the tension seeped back in. Carla's presence in the lobby was infrequent, yet when she did show up, her gaze meticulously searched for flaws, finger smudges on glass, chairs slightly askew. She consistently overlooked greeting clients and failed to inquire about how anyone was managing with the increased workload. At midday, a young man donned in a navy hoodie made his entrance, clutching a folder filled with papers. He surveyed his surroundings, uncertain of his next move. Shayla made her way towards him. Hello, how may I assist you today? I'm here for an initial assessment. I go by Jamal. I was instructed to bring my paperwork. Certainly, she replied. Join me here, won't you? I will prepare everything accordingly. As she started to input his details, Franklin watched silently from a short distance. Jamal appeared anxious. He nervously toyed with the zipper of his hoodie, deliberately steering clear of eye contact. At that moment, Carla stepped out of her office. What's happening here? She inquired, casting a glance at Jamal. New intake, Shayla stated without hesitation. He presented his documents. Carla approached and examined the folder intently. Have you verified his referral? I am submitting it at this moment. Patience is required on his part. This is not a walk-in clinic. Shayla clarified that he has a scheduled intake. Carla faced. Jamal, he shifted uncomfortably, realizing you hadn't called ahead. I did so just last week. Carla's tone lowered slightly. Could you please tell me the name of your referral agency? Just as he was about to respond, Shayla interjected. The confirmation is right here with me. He is scheduled on the calendar. Carla remained silent, simply turning on her heel and making her way back to her office. Jamal cast his gaze downward. You're all right, Shayla said softly. She simply enjoys ensuring everything is in order. Franklin observed the whole interaction, a sensation building in his throat. Carla's tone had been more than just doubtful. It was condescending, lacking in respect, and aimed at an individual who had, without a doubt, adhered to the established guidelines. In the afternoon light, Franklin made his way to Shayla, who was busy organizing the supply closet. Is that how she typically communicates with clients? Shayla pivoted with deliberate slowness, just a select few. Franklin understood the implication, without needing to inquire further. What's taking so long for someone to report it? Individuals have their experiences, yet nothing seems to take hold. The frequent rotation of HR representatives leads to important matters being overlooked or neglected. Has she ever spoken to you directly? I've caught whispers, nothing definitive, yet you sense it. It's as if she scrutinizes my clock-ins with a magnifying glass, yet overlooks the same from others. Or how she seems to bypass me for hours, handing them out to newcomers instead. Franklin gazed intently at the neatly arranged shelf of folded linens. You know, Shayla continued, I don't need her approval. I arrive, I complete my tasks, and I depart. However, it truly irks me when clients are spoken to in that manner. The following morning, Franklin showed up early and lingered by the side entrance. He had to find someone to talk to before the day fell apart. At exactly 8:15, Dr. Patel arrived in the lot, settling into his customary parking space. Franklin gestured for him to come closer. May I pose a question to you? Franklin remarked. Dr. Patel shifted his shoulder bag with a subtle motion. Absolutely. Have you observed the way Carla engages with specific clients? Dr. Patel took a moment to reflect. Are you referring to those who seem out of place in this neighborhood? Franklin acknowledged with a nod. Patel acknowledged that he had mentioned something before. A few months back, she advised me to focus on clinical work. She's becoming a burden, I realize, but I'm not the one in control. Make sure to be in the break room by noon. That was everything Franklin expressed. At 11:50, Carla convened a brief staff meeting. She positioned herself against the back wall, arms folded, gripping her tablet firmly. Here are a few updates. A temporary hire from Central Scheduling will be joining us to provide assistance at the desk. Shayla, beginning tomorrow, you'll return to your floater responsibilities. Shayla remained unresponsive, and I will be altering our approach to front desk coverage rotation. There have been an excessive number of influences at play recently. Everything seems to be unraveling. Franklin advanced with purpose. In fact, I would like to have a conversation. Carla's eyelids fluttered momentarily. This is not a question and answer session. It's not a question, he stated with a sense of tranquility. He retrieved a small envelope from his back pocket and offered it to her. Carla cast a quick look at it before lifting the flap. Within lay a neatly folded memo on unfamiliar letterhead. She scanned the opening lines, then came to a standstill. Franklin removed his glasses, exposing his keen brown eyes and a face that seemed all too recognizable. I go by the name Franklin James. This company is mine. The atmosphere grew still. Shayla's jaw clenched, yet she remained silent. Carla's complexion faded to a ghostly hue. You've received your warning before, Franklin stated, his tone steady. Concerning tone, concerning judgment, concerning the way individuals are treated as if they are expendable. She parted her lips to speak, yet he raised a hand to silence her. Silence is golden. I have waited in your lobby and felt overlooked. I have observed you diminish the contributions of those who are essential to the operation of this establishment. Your treatment of individuals who don't align with your vision of an ideal client has not gone unnoticed. I maintain a well-organized space. No, Franklin interjected. You command a stronghold and you've ensured that only the right individuals remain beyond the entrance, he said, directing his gaze towards Shayla. You won't be returning to Floater. You have been appointed as the new assistant manager for this location, in effect right away. He turned to confront the remainder of the space. I seek the names of every employee who has felt overlooked or dismissed. I seek to uncover who sustained this place, and I yearn to understand whose actions we have come to accept as normal. Carla took a step back. I have dedicated many years to this company, and in that moment Franklin remarked with a chill, You've complicated the trust people have in us, that stops here. He acknowledged the HR representative who had silently slipped in during his address. She advanced and confronted Carla. Kindly collect your items. Carla chose not to engage in a dispute. She pivoted, her gaze vacant, and made her way to her office. Franklin held his silence until she had left the room. Then he spoke once more. This is not a matter of punishment, he stated. It revolves around honoring one another. We cannot promote well-being if we disregard the importance of individuals. He surveyed the room, taking in every detail. I arrived incognito due to my waning faith in the accuracy of reports. I no longer place my faith in filters. I lost touch with the feeling of being on the floor. That won't occur again. He cast a look at Shayla. This place thrives because of you. We are about to reconstruct it properly this time. The upcoming week unfolded in a unique manner. The front desk, previously a source of stress, now operated with serene efficiency. Shayla, now officially the assistant manager, dedicated her weekend to crafting a new schedule. It lacked perfection. There just weren't enough staff to fill every void, yet it maintained a sense of equilibrium. She divided shifts equitably, shared responsibilities justly, and incorporated brief, staggered breaks to prevent burnout among the team. Franklin gave it the green light as is. At 8 o'clock on the dot Monday morning, he arrived not in disguise, not as Fred Jennings, but as his true self. He donned a simple Oxford shirt, its sleeves casually rolled up, eschewing the formality of a suit. He chose not to occupy a corner office. Instead, he positioned himself near the front with a notepad and a coffee, keenly observing without any interference. The initial client arrived at 8:15. Shayla welcomed her warmly and presented a glass of water. The process went seamlessly. The client took their seat in no time at all. Everyone was promptly attended to. By 9, the cadence was unwavering. The team advanced with a calm confidence, as if they were finally functioning without the weight of doubt trailing behind them. Franklin glanced at Shayla during the quiet moment. How did you acquire the skill to handle schedules in such a way? She mentioned that she previously coordinated volunteers for a mobile clinic. Varied individuals each day, constrained time, significant demand. You quickly discern who truly makes an appearance, he nodded. Your perception of pressure points is remarkable. That's quite uncommon. She failed to offer a kind word. Instead, she inquired, are we receiving assistance from corporate? We exist. Funding has been approved for 2 part-time positions. You'll conduct the interviews, she blinked. Who, me? You have a keen sense of what this place truly requires. From one side of the room to the other, Doctor. Patel emerged from the treatment room. He moved toward Franklin with a hushed demeanor. This morning I listened to the entire tale from Shayla, and Franklin gazed upward. You made the right choice. Carla's absence is quite telling. It feels more serene. Franklin waved his hand toward the hallway. What is absent? Patel mentioned infrastructure. We continue to operate with minimal resources. When a single voice rises, the entire day shifts its course. Franklin acknowledged with a nod and jotted down a note. We will receive assistance from a nearby location until we have our team in place. Temporary rotation for 2 days each week. Excellent, Patel remarked. I'm grateful that you chose to stay present after the reveal. I'm unable to resolve it from afar any longer. As the clock approached noon, a man in his 50s, clad in a mechanic's uniform, stepped inside, his hands being wiped, clean on a rag. Shayla welcomed him with a warm smile. Are you Mr. Alvarez? Indeed, I made the reservation last week. I've arrived ahead of schedule. You're quite talented, she remarked. He appeared taken aback when he heard that room 3 would be ready in 5 minutes. So quick. We are embarking on a fresh endeavor. Upon taking a seat, he surveyed the surroundings of the lobby. This location has a unique atmosphere. Once it seemed there was a chill in the air as Franklin gazed upward. What contributed to that sensation? Alvarez paused, uncertainty flickering in his mind. You'd enter the room, and silence would stretch, for what felt like an eternity. It was as if you were an outsider, a stranger in a place where the unspoken rules dictated that your worthiness was measured before a simple greeting could be offered. Franklin inclined his body, eager and attentive. If you ever experience that again, let me know, Alvarez agreed, then looked over at Shayla. She's the reason I returned, treating me with genuine respect. Following his appointment, Franklin intercepted her close to the break room. What is the duration of his time as a client? He shows up every few months, a reserved individual. He never voices a complaint, yet it's clear he observes everything. Franklin paused. I aim to establish a client council comprising 10 individuals from diverse backgrounds. We'll convene quarterly to discuss what's effective and what isn't. She raised an eyebrow at that. Fresh, that's the essence. As the week progressed, the shift started to resonate. Annika and Jordan, the two new hires, commenced their onboarding process. Shayla conducted the sessions personally. A treatment room was transformed into a rotating desk pod, allowing for training without congesting the lobby. Jordan, who once worked as a hotel concierge, adapted to the software with remarkable speed. Annika, with her background in a medical office, posed insightful questions and diligently recorded her thoughts on a compact notepad. Franklin observed from a considerate distance, intervening only when requested. He wasn't present to oversee every detail. He stood vigilant, determined, to ensure that no one would fall through the gaps once more. On Thursday afternoon, Franklin requested a stroll with Shayla. They traversed from one room to another, examining supplies, reviewing logs, and conversing with the staff. Upon arriving at the rear, close to the storage closet, he came to a halt. "This is the moment I first heard your voice," he remarked. "I recall you were restocking when I inquired about Carla. You were straightforward and honest, presenting me with the facts without any complaints. It occurred to me that remaining silent would lead to no transformation." He cast a glance in her direction. "Have you ever considered the idea of managing your own place?" She paused. "That's quite a significant jump. You're already tackling the challenging aspects. You guide, you pay attention, you notice what others overlook." She crossed her arms. "So what was it that kept everyone from noticing earlier?" "Because we were heeding the advice of the misguided." Upon their return to the lobby, they discovered Jordan assisting an elderly woman with her coat. She offered a warm smile and expressed her gratitude for his understanding. "2 weeks ago, I never would have imagined this," Franklin remarked. Shayla responded, "You could have. It was essential for you to witness it firsthand." That evening, Franklin brought the team together in the break room. Not for a meeting, but for a shared dinner experience. He had arranged for food from a nearby Caribbean restaurant, and everyone gathered, enjoying their meals in intervals as clients came and went. Upon the arrival of dessert, he rose to his feet. "These past weeks have certainly posed challenges. You've navigated through turmoil, filled in the voids and maintained the integrity of this place when everything seemed to unravel." He surveyed the table with a keen eye. "Your contributions merit more than mere gratitude, so let me share what's on the horizon. 1. Every individual present in this space will receive a performance bonus, unassuming yet urgent. We are implementing a quarterly check-in system aimed at fostering both feedback and growth. Your input will shape the future of this place. And 3. We are implementing a system for peer evaluation in leadership. I'm part of that too." A handful of individuals shared astonished glances as Franklin pressed on. "No one should remain beyond reach, not any longer." He directed his gaze toward Shayla. "Finally, beginning next quarter, Shayla will be undergoing training with regional leadership for a senior management path. Her achievements are a result of hard work, not connections." The break room fell silent, and then genuine applause erupted, soft yet heartfelt. Shayla remained silent for a moment. When she finally did, it was straightforward. This was not a solo effort. We all came together. As we stood on the brink of departure, Franklin lifted his glass of ginger tea, toasting to our presence and the importance of acknowledging what lies before us. They raised their glasses in a hushed acknowledgement, a simple yet profound moment between those who had faced challenges and emerged resilient. As the evening drew to a close and the final patrons departed, Franklin lingered to assist with the closing duties. He meticulously cleaned the chairs, reorganized the magazines with care, and switched off the lobby lights, ensuring everything was in order. Shayla lingered at the threshold, keys in hand. She remarked that it was no longer necessary to do that. "Indeed," he responded, "I lost sight of the importance of paying attention to the finer points." She secured the door, ensuring it was firmly shut behind them. The evening air was refreshingly cool. The parking lot lay nearly deserted, with only a handful of cars remaining. Franklin turned to her. "This place is an improvement, not flawless, but certainly an upgrade," she nodded. "Let's maintain that situation." They strolled to their vehicles beneath the gentle illumination of the overhead lights, not as superior and subordinate, not as mere labels but as individuals who had come to grasp the essence of reconstructing from within.